Yep, I'm talking about Transformers again. Deal with it. The Last Stand of the Wreckers is a 5-issue miniseries from IDW Publishing by James Roberts and Nick Roche. And it's awesome. The Transformers have a long history in comics. The original Marvel series laid the foundation for the characters we know today. Writer Bob Budiansky created the bios and names for those original wave of characters, as well as writing the first few issues, first half really, of that original Marvel run. Now, it was so successful it managed to keep a 4-issue miniseries running for 80 issues. But eventually, in the early 90s, sales were dropping and the series ended. They did attempt a revival in tandem with the Generation 2 toy line back in 93, but low sales meant that the book only lasted 12 issues and the license lapsed. In 2001, independent publisher Dreamwave picked up the Transformers license and started publishing books for the original Generation 1 characters, as well as the then current Armada toy line, which became the Energon toy line. But due to financial fuckery and colossally bad decisions on Dreamwave's part, Dreamwave folded towards the end of 2004 and the license was up for grabs again. IDW Publishing swooped in 2005, picked up the license and immediately set about rebooting and revitalising the Generation 1 continuity. It took a while and a fair bit of trial and error, shall we say, for IDW to find a format and stories that really resonated with the large core audience. It wasn't until in 2012 when IDW launched 2 Transformers ongoings, Robots in Disguise and More Than Meets the Eye, that they really landed and really found something that worked. Last Stand of the Wreckers is in many ways a pilot for More Than Meets the Eye. This story was a big break for James Roberts. This basically what landed him the gig on More Than Meets the Eye, which to this point is probably hands down my favourite piece of Transformers media, period. But Last Stand came first. So what's it about? Well, the Autobots are taking back ground from the Decepticons' big push, later became known as the Surge, happens just prior to the All Hail Megatron series, in which the majority of their outposts and bases were either destroyed or cut off from the other Autobots. The maximum security prison on Garrus 9 has been dark for 3 years, and the Wreckers, the Autobots' most daring, dirtiest and most ruthless fighters, are going in to liberate it, bolstered by a group of new recruits. But there's more to this job than just a straight rescue, and that's before they pick up a lone escapee who reveals that Garrus 9 is now under the control of Overlord, a rogue Decepticon of immense power and exceptional cruelty. And who's the escapee? The Wreckers' disgraced former leader, Impactor. As the new recruits are about to learn, sometimes your first day in the Wreckers can also be your last. Basically, this is a late 80s to early 90s action flick with Transformers in it. It's got a boo-hiss villain, it's got rookies on a dangerous mission that goes sideways, it's got intrigue, betrayal, and redemption. It's The Rock, with Transformers in it. And no Michael Bay. Huzzah! Roberts and Roche get to flesh out a bunch of obscure characters, pretty much exclusively early 90s European exclusive toys that a kid like me had because you couldn't afford or find Optimus Prime. They basically get to create characters from the ground up for Pyro and Rotorstorm and Iron Fist and Snare and Skyquake, and in doing so they create characters that really stick with you and you actually care about, which is very important to this story. I mean, sure, there are G1 mainstays in here, like Cup's in it, Springer's in it, Ultra Magnus is in it, albeit briefly, but these more obscure characters are really the heart of the story. And yes, the friction between Springer and Impactor, for Springer basically sending Impactor to prison, that's a big core tenet of the story, but the heart of it is how these new recruits deal with being in the Wreckers and watching this mission go sideways and everything just go horribly wrong. They get their hands dirty, myths are shattered, lies are exposed. Iron Fist, the Wreckers fanboy who ends up joining the team, he learns that his heroes aren't all they appear to be, and that being one of them comes at a heavy cost. This book really pulls on ideas of propaganda and the glorification of military force and what that means for people and how people's feelings change when they're exposed to that. Not everyone gets out of this book alive, and those that do are forever changed by it. Nick Roche's art uses the fact that the characters are all robots to really crank up the violence. Bots are shot, they're stabbed, they're dismembered, there's a fair bit of torture, we see characters get torn apart by angry mobs. At least one, maybe more faces get torn off. Josh Bertram's vivid colours give us great big splashes of purple liquid energy all over the carnage that Roche is having such fun inflicting on us. And of course, paired with Roche's designs, everyone's got such a unique look that you can look at a page full of robots and know exactly who's who and where they are and what they're doing. The art's very clear like that, and it makes it a real pleasure to read. Roche's designs have even made it into the toy line, the Generations line that's aimed at collectors. The 2014 Springer figure uses his design from this book as the basis for the figure, and here it is. And it's probably my favourite of the Transformers figures that I own. It's awesome. The man just knows how to draw great looking robots. You know, when it comes down to it, Last Stand of the Wreckers is a great action story that happens to star transforming robots. That the writers approach the said transforming robots as any other characters, as real people, gives everything a depth and a strength of character that is really the greatest strength of IDW's work on the franchise. And the political edge it's got, although subtle, goes on to be carried through more than meets the eye by James Roberts. And again, sci-fi using fantastical situations to make political and social comment. I'm seeing a theme developing in my videos here. I love Last Stand of the Wreckers. And if you have even a passing interest in Transformers, this is well worth checking out. It stands really well on its own, and it was the first piece of IDW Transformers comics that I read. And after that, I was hooked. You can pick it up physically as a collected edition from Amazon or from your local comic shop. The hardcover's got some really nice extras in it that aren't in any other edition. I've got the digital version from Comixology, which is bare bones, just the issues, but both well worth it. It's a great story. Give it a go. Well, that's it for another Big Damn Love. Thanks for watching. If you want to share your thoughts about Last Stand of the Wreckers or the Transformers comics, share some recommendations, or just want to chat, feel free to leave a comment below. Please subscribe. You get more content. You get the podcast every Friday. You get another Big Damn Love every Sunday. We've got plans for more stuff in the future, and we'll keep you updated with that as it comes. As always, if you want to get in touch with us, bigdamcontact@gmail.com or @BigDamnCast on Twitter. Wreck and rule! I'm going to make him into a helicopter now. Look at this. This is cool. Look at that. How cool is that? That's a really cool helicopter. Yeah. That's how we do Transformers, ladies and gentlemen.